traditional rulers of those areas, with the members of the State Assembly, as well as the local government chairmen. We also encourage them to deepen their intelligence because the security really also needs support. What happened is that most of those people in the local areas, particularly at the local government level, at the ward level, are not really working closely with the security agencies.
All right, so that is on security in the state. Let's check out what he had to say about this issue of the abductions. When asked to clarify what exactly happened and how these individuals were released, the students were released from captivity, this is what he had to say about that.
Those speculations they are gathering today are figment of some people's imaginations. I can tell you they have had any contradiction. There was nothing like that. What is more important to us, there was nothing like Gumi in this equation, I can tell you. But of course, sitting here, I will not going to undermine the effort of our armed forces. They did their best. What is more important today is that our children are back. Most of those permutations are not necessary. If their child is kidnapped, will you be sitting down talking about how he's released? That's an act of responsibility. For me, what is more important, those children are back home. The parents are extremely happy. I'm with them this afternoon. What is more important to them, they want to reunite with their own children. But some people who have no business with this situation are the one coming out with some irresponsible permutations about whether a ransom is being paid, whether someone has gone into kinetic approach or non-kinetic. What is more important?
He gave an insight into the rescue of the abducted students and the ongoing security intervention in the Kuriga community. Let's take a listen.
Did our part, all stakeholders did part, and we all are very happy and we appreciate all the effort of everyone who assisted in the decision. We did our part, all stakeholders did their part, and we appreciate everyone. We are happy about it. To the parents, to the community, we congratulate them as well. And we appeal to them that they should accept them, and these children need to be treated very well because of what they passed through. And they need to go back to school also. Since the incident happened, the IG was here. He promised to deploy some special forces, special intervention squads, and he promised to deploy a unit of PMF, and they are already there in Kuriga. Also, he promised 2 APCs, armored personnel carriers, and you witness them. I think for the residents of Kaduna, we need to just reiterate that they have to assist the security agencies. It is only by cooperating with the security agencies that they will be able to help them. So, especially community leaders, especially people that are our major stakeholders, they should come closer, have our contacts, and be ready to assist us all the times. We all are very happy.
All right, that is the voice of Ali Dabigi, who is the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State, giving an insight into the rescue of the abducted students and the ongoing security intervention in Kuriga community. Well, that's about Who Said What on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. In a bit, we'll be joined by El-Rufai to help us do justice to some of our headlines, as well as Mr. Larry Ogoego, who will be helping us as well talk about the headlines. My name is Gesere. I'll be back in just a moment. Keep it locked.
Do you like what we do? Want to see some more of us? Head over and meet us on YouTube, Insta, and Twitter. At Voice of the People 96.1 FM. Share us on your socials. Tell everyone. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us at Voice of the People 96.1 FM. See ya.
News.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports.
The Greek god in Rome.
business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Everybody knew that I was just managing.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, wicked.
Let the poor breathe.
Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume what the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. They should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
Bye there.
Inakwana.
Good morning.
Ilahiala.
Ekaro.
Obohia.
Good morning.
Mewa. Edio.
Tutuama. Keideo.
Good morning. Rise and shine. This is the Morning Ride. We have got an action-packed day ahead with headlines, sports, business, great conversation. Start your day right with VOP's Morning Ride. Weekdays. Good morning. Good morning.
It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai Oseni.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Frontpage Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now you have a voice.
Good morning to you and welcome to the Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Gesire Agua. We are live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Join us on YouTube. It is at Voice of the People Abuja. Join us there. Good morning, Mr. El-Rufai, and welcome to the show.
Morning, Gessie. Let's go straight.
All right, the president has said that he won't be celebrating his birthday and he'll dedicate it to nation building. This set to his 72nd birthday. He'll dedicate that to the task of building a more stable, secure, prosperous and united Nigeria. And he has asked his friends and associates to donate monies to charity organizations of their choice instead of placing, delivery celebratory messages to him. What exactly is your take on this?
I mean, very good, very good. On this, the president's called the top one. He read the room, is sensitive to the plight of people, and this is very good. When he does know man, he's very good on this.
All right, so we have the NASU and SWANU suspending strike, telling members when to resume. We saw the strike action occurring last week, and now we're seeing a ceasefire taking place. At this point in time, are we expecting the federal government to do what they say they'll do?
Hopefully, the federal government will not keep them waiting. Since they're giving them this window for negotiation, hopefully they're able to coalesce forces and we'll be able to get our university system back in, because we don't need any disruptions any longer. So those are the things. In fact, the president said 4 years will be 4 years, you should never forget that mantra. So we should try to responsible sort out all that matters and the progress around them.
All right. In a conversation yesterday, the governor of Kaduna State made a statement about how the 137 students were released, how their release was, gained by the government at the time. And he talked about the fact that should it be important as to how their release was secured, or shouldn't it be of greater importance that the children have been released? At this point in time, is it important, Mr. El-Rufai, as to how the release of these children were secured?
It's important to know for the sake of transparency, but I doubt if the government will ever tell you what you need to do, because they will tell you, it's a security operation. But let me tell you the sad thing. We have built an ecosystem of kidnapping in the north as a country, and it's so sad. The question you should ask is, why is it that in all of this release, you never hear that the bandits were engaged and they were arrested? As long as you don't hear that, you build an ecosystem of kidnapping. And when these guys, when they're running short of money, they just go kidnap, and you know what they're going to get in the end. So we should watch it. And this did not start today. This has started for a while, and the consolidation had gone on for a while. So let's just be careful, because we're not careful enough, and we might disrupt it when we're not careful enough.
Well, at this point in time, Mr. Rufai, you have to wonder when the federal government takes a stance such as we won't be paying ransoms to kidnappers, and then goes to do whatever it is it does to regain the freedom of these individuals. What exactly should Nigerians be thinking about the federal government? Isn't it better to let Nigerians know, okay, this is what we did, this is how, okay, we spent this amount of money, if we did, these amount of individuals were caught in the crossfire, if it was an altercation between the army and the kidnappers?
Guess let's not deceive ourselves. No government anywhere in the world will come out and tell you that they paid ransom. Most governments in the world will tell you we don't pay ransom, we don't negotiate with terrorists. But that's not the case. You remember, even recently, this basketballer from America that was arrested in the Russian cell. There was sort of like a ransom pay for a negotiation for a prisoner swap. You know who they swapped out with? I think Griner. You know who they swapped? They swapped out with Victor Butch. In fact, before Alexei Navalny died, there was a negotiation for a swap between the German authorities and Alexei Navalny to release some of these top Russian people. So they have all this. So let's not deceive ourselves. It's not everyone that ends it. But they also have actions that are very deep. Okay, I'll give you an instance. I think it was when Trump was still in power. There was an American that was kidnapped around that the border area between Nigeria and Niger. The Americans sent in their team, their SWAT team, and they took out the terrorists. They killed them, decimated them, and they rescued the guy. So, if we are not constantly doing that rescue job, where we are taking out terrorists in front of also rescue and finding action, all we're just emboldened, because it's not that I don't think this bandit will not have a change of heart all of a sudden and say, oh, come and take the children. Definitely, something went down. So it's a very tough balancing act. But I don't blame Tinubu, because every government will come out and say, oh, we don't talk to terrorists, we don't negotiate with bandits, we don't even pay ransom. But the truth is, the way not to be able to put yourself in that precarious situation is to be able to ramp up vigilance and surveillance. And don't also forget that this bandit have been very strong. That were very
all right, we're having a bit of network issues right there. We'll try to reconnect with Rufai Oseni this morning, but we're talking about the release, how the government rather secured the release of the Kuriga local government community students. Right, we're talking about from the LEA primary school, as well as the GSS secondary school as well. You begin to wonder, shouldn't the government generally let Nigerians know, for transparency's sake, how the release of these children were secured? We should be in the know to understand, okay, this is what went down. You owe it to Nigerians, because when monies are moved, when it reaches time to take taxpayers' monies, you take it willingly. But when it comes to time for transparency, it seems that we're playing a different tune. Well, that is the conversation this morning. Join us on 0700 010 961 961 0700 010 961 9661. Do you think the federal government or the government of the state should be letting Nigerians know just how some of these children, the release of some of the abductees, were secured? I mean, this isn't the first case of abduction we're seeing in Nigeria, neither is it the second or the third. We've seen a large number of children who have been released into the hands of the state government. So how was that release secured? How exactly, what exactly went down? You know, a lot of people were speculating that Sheikh Gumi was involved in this as well. But let's see how much more of unfolding the story would have to do for us to, get into the conversation proper. Well, we're trying as much as we can to get back with Rufai Seni in our conversation this morning. In Bauchi State, 4 individuals have been trampled to death during an almsgiving stampede. No fewer than 4 people were reportedly trampled to death on Sunday during an attempt to participate in an almsgiving exercise at a particular company in Jos Road in Bauchi State. The state police public relations officer spoke with newsmen, disclosed that 5 people became unconscious as a result of the stampede, noting that 4 were confirmed dead by the doctor on duty at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital, Bauchi State. Well, at this point in time, all right. Hello.
Yeah, let's quickly this up, huh?
All right. We're wrapping up on the Kaduna abductions and why it's important to even let Nigerians know as to what went down. But we're moving on to another conversation. I saw a story and it talked about the fact that the 1999 Constitution, as amended, a group of individuals and a think tank group called the Patriots, they had a stakeholders meeting and they resolved that the 1999 Constitution and its brand of presidential system fosters politics of alienation and increasing appetite for state capture amongst the ruling elite to the exclusion of a large section of Nigerian citizens. And this led to the disenchantment across the country, while also asserting that the Constitution, by its flawed origin, lacks legitimacy, which it cannot acquire from any number of amendments. Well, so they're saying at the moment that the Constitution lacks legitimacy. What exactly is your take on this?
Oh yeah, so they had that forum in Lagos last week. I was around there when they had the forum at the address of part of Nigerian International Relations something. And the truth has been said, they have a very valid point. But the question is, who's going to build the cars? Who is going to build the cars? Who is going to be able to help us now start with this process? Say for instance, I'll give you an example. Nobody shouted for constitutional reforms more than President Tinubu before he got to power. Once he got to the power, no president would like to implement it. It's not, no president who wants the devolution of power to happen under their government, because everybody wants to enjoy the full sense of power and all of that. So it has to be said, you see, it's a double-edged sword, but we need to do something about our constitution, because there are many things that we need to look at, to develop more powers at. But do we have the willingness to do the political will? You see, as with every problem in Nigeria, the problem has always been that of political will. What is the political will to do? What is the political will to be able to achieve this? If the politicians are truly ready to achieve it, then definitely we'll be able to have a will to do it. Okay, look at Senegal, for instance. After all the election process and everything, the youth came out en masse, and El-Rufai, a 44-year-old, is what is going to be becoming the next president of Senegal. This was the same candidate of, Sonko, the former tax officer. So you can see that the Sonko base was strong, and this was the Sonko that was president of running. So it is sure that if Usman Sonko was going to be on that power, he might probably have just, taken the day. So it's about the willingness of the leadership to want to do something, and also it's about the willingness of the people to be able to push. All right? So, and that's what's happening. As of today now, about 5 opposition candidates that have declared that Faye is the winner. It is a considered defeat. But this was James Sonko that was locked up at a point by the former president, Macky Sall, and all sorts of things were done against it. But the people's will prevailed when they said they wanted to push election forward. And the election court and the system of government, the electoral constitutional court, held them out, and they had their plight. So we must know that it takes the will of the people to push, and also the political will of whoever is in power. Do you know that? Let me tell you something. Yes. Do you know that the APC will set up a committee for restructuring led by Nasi El-Rufai. The committee presented his report. That was how ready they were. But now that they've gone into power 8 years down the line, nobody has. Have you heard President Tinubu talk about business? No, so they almost saw those things. Because the
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. El-Rufai, for joining the conversation this morning.
Thank you. Yeah,
all right. Well, that is the conversation this morning, and we're talking about Kaduna State. We're also talking about the Constitution, because this is the bane of the conversation at the moment. Every single thing that is done, security-wise, whatever-wise, has to have the backing of the Constitution. And at a time where people are calling for a reform and people are asking for a reform, we've seen, redundant, what some people have referred to as redundant rules or laws, rather, in the Constitution, and some people have been calling for the reform of the Constitution. So at this point in time, do you think it's something that the president or the government of the day will have the political will to insist on or insist upon at this point in time? We'll join the conversation. It is at 0700 010 961 961. That's on WhatsApp, as well as a regular call, 0700 010 961 961. Should the Kaduna State government let Nigerians know just how the release of the abducted students in Kaduna State was secured? Well, we'll get more details into the conversation in a bit. Let's go ahead and pay some bills. My name is Gesire Agua, by the way. Keep it locked.
96.1 FM.
Today's sun is so hot though.
So what are you waiting for? Get the authentic taste of creamy cold berry ice cream. To order online from Gariki, call 090-8831-5907. Guarimpa 090-8831-5909. And Lugbe 090-8845-3416.
Enjoy authentic cold berry ice cream.
Are you traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience the ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me. I'm coming in hot. Now, you can enjoy the original taste of premium American Romeo's Pizza. Juicy, just the way you like it. To order online from Guarimpa, call 090-8831-5908. Gariki 090-8831-5906. And Lupe 090-9238-9861. Romeo's Pizza, the pizza champions.
Coming in hot, just like the beat.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk show.
Yeah, in those days, and say what they like about our military, about the country, and they don't seem to get any reprisal for doing all that. So we need to get to that point where people should know that if you do the crime, you do the time. People should know that the government should have the monopoly of violence, and that in a state, the government has the power not only to use violence in a measured way, but also to punish people who operate outside the provisions of the law. In Nigeria, it has been proven, or it has become obvious that these things are not happening. So you see some people who are ordinary criminals venturing into kidnapping. And then you see some people who are even businessmen organizing kidnap rings because they have realized that it probably pays more. I mean, we know the story of one guy who's supposed to be from some part who was said to have worked in a bank, who suddenly had a kidnap ring, kidnapping staff of his former bank and all of that. So it has become a lucrative business, partly because there are no consequences. But if we have maybe 5 persons kidnapped and then 3 at least are arrested and punished, it becomes a disincentive for those who may be considering going into the business of kidnapping, because now it's a business for the perpetrators. It's not some of the things we think they are, that they are fueling unrest, that they are bandits, that they may be whatever we call them, but for them it's a means of raising money. Even if they are insurgents, it's a means of raising money for the operation. To that extent, it's a business. So we have to find ways to make it difficult for them to operate and to make them pay for the crimes they are committing. But if we negotiate and pay them, then it means we are giving them incentives to continue.
Okay. Anyway, let's move away from, the drama, the kidnap, and of course, the controversy surrounding it at the moment. Let's move on and talk about a recent development as reported by Premium Times newspaper this morning. That is one of their top stories. And according to the headline on Premium Times, it says, exclusive, detained Binance executive escapes from custody in Nigeria. Najim Anjawala, one of the 2 Binance executives detained in Nigeria for alleged tax evasion and other offenses, has escaped from lawful custody. And those familiar with the matter have now told Premium Times. And according to the source, they said, one of the executives escaped on Friday, 22nd of March, from the Abuja guest house where he and his colleagues were detained after guards on duty led him to a nearby mosque for prayers in the spirit of the ongoing Ramadan fast. And according to multiple reports, especially by Premium Times, it says, despite the fact that Nadim's British passport is in custody of the Nigerian government, questions are being asked as to how he escaped, as there are also reports that he flew through an East African airline. Remember, he also holds, a Kenyan citizenship. So they report that he has also fled to Kenya. The question is, how did he escape custody? Especially if there are guards, manning that particular guest house, so where they've been detained by the Nigerian government.
Should he even be detained by the Nigerian government? That is the question. Exactly.
Gessie, there are 2 questions there. Should he be detained? But then, even if he has been detained wrongfully, he shouldn't necessarily escape. If a person is detained wrongly, the person should go to court, get the court to declare detention illegal, get compensation for being detained, and go home.
This is ordinarily, Mr. Larry, this is ordinarily in a situation where everything works. That is what is attainable, right? If you are detained, you should go to court and all that. In a situation where we have seen the unlawful detainment of individuals, where individuals cannot even access their freedom to even say they want to go to court, how then do they even navigate that kind of situation?
No, Binance has the resources to go to court. That's the way Nigeria works. If you are poor in Nigeria, justice travels very slowly, and very often the journey stops altogether. If you are rich, it may travel slowly, but you get to its destination. And people have been known to be paid. Let me explain something. I must tell you that most Nigerians will not wait for 1.5 years even, because we are a very impatient set of people. And I must acknowledge that there are problems there. For instance, if you get judgment against the police or the government, there's a tendency to frustrate. But then there are lawyers and persons who understand that you can garnish the account of the perpetrators, which we did in the case of the Road Safety Organization. So it happens, but it's difficult. We shouldn't shy away from the fact that our criminal justice system and even the justice system generally is flawed. But the point I'm making also is escaping may not be a very fine solution. Because as a businessman, at escape means that ordinarily, if Nigeria is organized, he cannot come to Nigeria anymore, whether he was wrongfully detained or properly detained. We need to learn some of these lessons. But for him, it may be like, what am I doing here? I'm done with Nigeria, so I don't want to bother. But it has implications. So you can escape if you have the capacity, yes. But it has long-term implications. It means that you're a fugitive. Even if you were right ab initio, you are now a fugitive. Remember that, sorry, but it's a small digression. But remember that in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, who said that I have reasons to escape, the other side is saying that you were on bail and you jumped bail. I don't want us to go there, but I'm just saying that escaping from the law complicates matters if you have the capacity to sort it out. But having said that, I think the more critical issue we should be asking is, how can somebody who was detained escape? And I don't want to belabor that matter. Ships that were detained in Nigeria have escaped before. A whole ship, if you know how big a ship, a tanker is. I mean, we know that with the size, if a ship can escape and disappear, then you can understand how easy it is for a human being to escape. It's a Nigerian thing. So if you want to escape, you design your escape. It may not be escape the way you think, like James Bond escaping from prison. So he has to do magic. This is Nigeria. So that's the simplest way to explain it. Like I said, if a ship can walk away after being detained, that it just sail away with the sheer size of it, and we don't know when it sailed away, then human being can also walk away. That underscores the role corruption plays in our insecurity and in our security. Because I don't believe that he escaped just by sheer escaping. And now that he has escaped, I'll ask another question. Have they told us that he escaped? And did they hold anybody accountable? Because somebody must have been in charge of keeping an eye on him, whether he was in a hotel or wherever. In a normal situation, there should be a prize for his escape. That is, if somebody under your watch escapes, you should explain. You should be punished for being that sloppy. In Nigeria, I can assure you, without knowing the details, that nothing will happen. Which means that if somebody arranges properly with you, the person can escape. And then you sort out those who should disturb you that the person escaped. So we need to be talking about the place of corruption in managing security and insecurity. It's something we should do consistently, because we are talking about all the other issues, but we forget that corruption operates like a virus, that especially like the HIV virus, which compromises the capacity of the body to protect itself. That's what corruption does to us. It permeates the whole nation and compromises our capacity to protect ourselves. Because people who should act in the best interest of the nation now act in the best interest of their pockets. That's why people can walk away. Whether they were rightfully or wrongfully detained, they shouldn't have been able to walk away. Because if a person who was wrongfully detained can walk away, we can also assume that the person who was actually detained can walk away.
Right. Very true. Okay.
And that's very dangerous.
Okay, and let's move away from that particular. A lot of questions to be asked as regards the escape. Where he's escaping to, who aided his escape, how did he get a Kenyan, passport? So many questions. My mind right now to ask, but at the end of the day, you get to ask who will give me the answer. Or Maomi says, if you ask me,
but we know how porous our borders are, even when they are shut down. If you have traveled through the borders, that is, you've gone to Benin Republic, there are different ways to cross the border. We have a very bad security situation in Nigeria. I've had the privilege of going to those places physically, not that I know. Like if you have passport here, you don't have passport here. Do you want to cross with bike? Do you want to cross in your car? Do you want to? So all you have to do is to dress like a regular person, like a local boy, and then you cross. Nobody will ask you. That's just follow those when you get passport. If you don't get passport, pass here. You pass there now, and get to the other side and then back on the journey. We also know that even in the heydays, in the terrible days of military dictatorship, Nigerian celebrities escaped through the borders on occasions and traveled abroad. So I think we are not just able to grapple with the issues of security. I've always said that a man who is looking for bribes will not see bombs. I can also tell you that a man who is looking for bribes will not see escapees. If a person is focused on pecuniary interest, if a policeman or whoever is at a checkpoint and you're looking for bribe, you will not see bomb, because anybody who gives you bribe will pass. If you're at a border and you're looking for money, you will not see contraband, you will not see illegal aliens and visitors and all of those people. So the problem we have that we are not discussing enough is corruption. I remember it's on the mantra of corruption that Buhari won the election. Nigerians really thought he was going to do some magic and reduce corruption. Unfortunately, under Buhari's watch, corruption increased terribly. Okay. So we need to understand that asking those questions, we already know the answers. Okay. We don't pay attention to what is important. Most institutions and persons are compromised. And because they are compromised, they are not able to perform.
Okay.
Even the process of recruiting the people who work in those institutions are compromised. People buy positions. So people who are not qualified do the work. So the compromise is so much that it will take us a long time to clean up the mess we have created for ourselves.
Yes. All right. Yes, in another developing story, we're seeing, this is in Okwama community in Ugeli South local government, between the army and the community members. We're seeing monarchs and retired security officers, clerics and activists in the Niger Delta calling and urging the federal government to direct the army to withdraw its siege on the embattled Okwama community in Ugeli South local government. This is to avert losses of more lives and then also douse the tension in the region as well. At this point in time, we're seeing all that played out in the Okwama community, and we're seeing the army, you know, in its way, being very dogged about wanting justice for its personnel who were killed. Should the federal government also ask the army to withdraw its siege on Okwama?
In my opinion, there shouldn't have been a siege on Okwama. If you know the meaning of siege, there are old women there, there are old men, there are children, there are innocent young people, male and female, who didn't participate in killing the military and who never committed any crime. There are very decent people in that community. You cannot convince me that everybody in Okwama, they're bandits and criminals and crude oil smugglers and thieves. No. I think we need to understand how to do things properly. While I commiserate with the military, while we all condemn the heinous killing, we should also make it clear that every time you lay a siege on a community like that and punish innocent people, you are actually pushing them to the brink. You're making them have sympathy for criminals. You're making them hate the military and everybody and everything in uniform. You're making them begin to consider fortifying themselves to be able to fight back. Because if I'm innocent as a person and my brother, my sibling, harms the military and they punish me, if I'm not careful, I will begin to think like my brother. Oh, maybe if I'm a strong man, maybe if I have my own grenade launcher and AK-47, I would have been able to fight back. So we need to separate the wheat from the chaff. We need to separate the good guys from the bad guys and go after the bad guys. And let me tell you one of the benefits. When we go after the bad guys, the good guys will cooperate with us. But when we lump the good guys and the bad guys together, the good guys will protect the bad guys. Because if you are punishing me for doing nothing, I don't see why I should cooperate with you. That's one of the reasons why the police is failing and policing is failing in Nigeria. They say they are our friends, but last, they are our enemies. So when they want information, we don't give them. Not because we don't want to give them.
Exactly. Because you say they are your enemies is a strong statement. That's a very strong statement.
Yes, let me explain what I mean. If you are not treated properly, and you are not only treated improperly, but you are treated without regards to your rights. If somebody arrests you and because of arresting you, he slaps you for no reason other than to inform you that he's a policeman and you're under my authority now, then the person is your enemy. The only person who can slap you without provocation is your enemy. Your friend can't slap you. And we have what we call the Administration of Criminal Justice Law, which prescribes how a policeman should operate and even arrest a person, how anybody should arrest a person. You touch the person and inform the person that you are under arrest. If in the event of the arrest, the person puts up a resistance, you can only use resistance that is commensurate with the resistance the person is putting up to subdue the person. So if a young boy is fighting 3 police officers, they shouldn't shoot him, because it is better that 3 police officers should be able to overpower an unarmed young man. Now, these are the principles and the laws, not just principles. There are rules of engagement. So if, in spite of all these rules, you no reason other than the fact that we are civilians, and then take money from us to release us. We have documented cases that these things happened in the past and they are still happening. Then it means that they are not our friends. I speak about these things all the time. I've participated in training police officers, in training members of the public, and I keep explaining that police should be our friends, but they're not our friends, because they're not treating us like friends. We know how friends treat us. A friend, even if you are wrong, will be careful in how he manages your wrongdoing. How much more for the police that have standard operating procedure, yet they don't follow it. So we digress a little, but I think it's important that we do that. And the same thing applies to the military. When the military becomes more friendly, on the average, there is no Nigerian that has not tested the rot of the uniformed personnel. Some one way or the other. If you have not tested it, your relation has. And to that extent, you have. I mean, if you have not been maltreated by our military and paramilitary institutions, but you have been dragged to a police station or to an army barracks where you had to spend hours on end negotiating and begging for release of someone, you come out with a bitter taste in your mouth. And that is what is happening. That's why our security situation also is getting worse, because the people who should be fighting alongside the security agents are not doing so. Because if you go to Kama now, after this siege you are talking about, listen carefully. So after this siege, you say you're doing drive to recruit young people who are intelligent into the military. So how can a young man who was brutalized because his brothers committed a crime, or who was under siege and suffered from hunger and deprivation for some days, how is he going to be excited about joining the same military? So we need to tread cautiously. My position is that the military should manage Okwama. They shouldn't be necessarily under siege. We have what we call the Directorate of Military Intelligence. They should have an intelligence gathering arm that functions. So they can even operate in Okwama without the people knowing. They can go to bars, befriend people, buy them drinks, get to know who did what. They should also collaborate with other security agencies to get information and go after the culprits. But cordoning off the town and dealing with them in this manner is predicated on the assumption and underlying assumption that the community members knew about what was going to happen and didn't do anything. In fact, I've had some people allude to that from the military side, that the community is even orchestrating propaganda. It's not the whole community that plans to orchestrate propaganda. It takes one person to orchestrate propaganda. So you don't hold the whole community responsible and punish them en masse. There are good people there.
Sure.
And those good people, we should cut them some slack. Okay. So I think the military should tread cautiously. And of course, finally, we have laws in Nigeria. These people have rights. They have freedoms. And those rights and freedoms should be respected. If a person commits a crime, the law can withdraw the rights and freedoms from the person on conviction or on arrest. Okay. However, for a person to commit any crime, you cannot arrest the person or punish the person for being in an environment where crime was committed. That's not known by law.
Okay.
It's not acceptable to law.
Okay, before we let you go, Mr. Larry, quickly let's touch on the situation in Ondo State right now. We all know that the APC primaries have been slated for the 25th of April. That is in about a month's time from today. And of course, some of the key contenders at that particular primaries is the current governor of the state, talking about Lucky Aiyedatiwa, and also one of his opponents is accusing him of destroying his billboard. So many drama going on, but a lot of drama. But let's see how we can touch each part. First of all, the other opposition in the APC is accusing Aiyedatiwa's thugs, according to him, of destroying his billboard. But on those states, signage and advertisement agency have come out to state that no, it wasn't Ayeda Atiwa's men that destroyed it. Rather, the owners of the billboard haven't paid to the signage agency. Hence, they had to bring it down. So that being cleared, and also with the primaries happening next month, just tomorrow, which will be the 26th of March 2024, certain individuals, key stakeholders within the APC, have said they are going to announce their preferred candidate for the gubernatorial election. So many drama happening right now, and some have actually said Ayedatiwa might not be the preferred candidate that these stakeholders want to mention, especially knowing how he came into power with the death of Rotimi Akeredolu while he was away for a sick leave. And also, some key states House of Assembly members resigning their position immediately became governor. So looking at all this drama, in about 5 minutes, let's piece this together, Mr. Larry. What is happening?
It's always interesting to watch political drama unfold in Nigeria. Like I've always said, sometimes we waste too much money putting together all of these reality shows and all that. Maybe we should consider installing cameras in some of these House of Assembly and government houses and political meetings, and then just entertain ourselves watching some of their antics. Having said that, we need to know that it's not going to be different. I mean, we were just talking about Edo, and then their own drama started unfolding. It's not going to be any different. The power thing in Nigeria is a do or die affair. Basically, because the gains of office, I can't think of any other country where people wield so much power. A typical governor is an emperor. That's the governor runs the state as if he's running his personal kingdom. And because of the level of power that they wield, and because there is no consequence for wrongdoing, people aspire to be political stakeholders and governors especially, by all means. And that is why you have this drama playing out. There's something I want to say specifically about billboards. We live in a country where incumbents use all kinds of tools to suppress opposition. So some people will tell you, oh, if you want to erect a political billboard, you have to pay our signage company 200,000 per billboard. They just put impossible conditions. Now, because there are the people controlling the purse, they won't pay. Even if they want to pay, they'll use government funds to pay to government. And then they expect opposition to now pay that amount for their own billboards. I think we need to regulate the democratic space if we want democracy to thrive. Democracy is not government of the bourgeois for the billionaires and by the millionaires. No, democracy is about people. So when we get to that point where tickets for primaries and the expression of interest funds cannot be afforded by the ordinary people, when we get to that point where ordinary people cannot afford to campaign by putting billboards on the road, then it means that we have a problem. So I think we need to democratize the space. But one of the things I expect the politicians to do in Oyo State is to do what they can to ensure that whoever they throw up genuinely represents the people. That's a tall order. But as long as they don't do that, whoever will come in will also have to pay the price of managing gargantuan problems that become intractable. I don't envy the governor considering the circumstances under which he came, but we shouldn't also forget that he was clearly endorsed by Akeredolu, clearly endorsed, even like a prophet. So I think the government needs to do some brinkmanship, try to reunite at least the factions that may be loyal to him, but all of this things shouldn't be based on just getting political power, but based on providing quality leadership to the people. Whoever emerges should know that the purpose of leadership is to make the life of the people better, not to become a political warlord.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Larry, for joining the conversation this Monday morning. Have yourself a very, very good week.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure to be one of the voices of the people this morning. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. All right, Simeon, I mean, this has been the world of politics, and we're going to see more unfolding in Ondo State leading up to the elections. So, when it comes to politics,
the point is tomorrow is gang in Ondo State. Yes, tomorrow is.
At the primaries.
I just can't wait for tomorrow. The primaries is next month, but tomorrow some elders are unveiling a candidate, which some have actually said negates the guidelines of the political party. So let's see what unfolds tomorrow. Let's see the drama brewing in Oyo State for tomorrow. So tomorrow is when they are declaring. We hope they declared before we come on air.
On air.
Because if not, it's on Wednesday we are going to talk about the drama.
All right. My name is Gesere.
And I am Simeon Sunday.